I call them the J6 hostages, not prisoners. I call them the hostages, what's happened, and it's a shame.
Do you still think it was a tragic day? Do you think that the people who stormed the Capitol should be held responsible to the full extent of the law?
I have concerns about the treatment of January 6 hostages. I have concerns. We have a role in Congress of oversight over our treatments of prisoners. And I believe that we're seeing the weaponization of the federal government against not just President Trump, but we're seeing it against conservatives. We're seeing it against Catholics.
There's another member of GOP House leadership who has taken to calling those imprisoned for their illegal actions on January 6th hostages. Hostages. They attacked our very democracy, and yet they are the victims? It's morally bankrupt. This is not only a sick, twisted perversion of the truth, it's also deeply offensive to Americans across this country. What my extreme MAGA Republican colleagues and their apologists are doing is perpetrating a deeply cynical, psychological manipulation.
That was Representative Becca, first name Becca, Representative Becca, reminding us all of what happened on January 6, 2021. So Representative Becca is just reminding folks about the lawlessness that was going on by the extreme MAGAs. But that offended some of the extreme MAGAs. And they're like, wait. My lawlessness, I see your lawlessness, and I raised you on lawlessness. Let's take a listen.
So my extreme Marxist colleague, who is a mindless follower of Joe Biden, raised the specter of insurrection and lawlessness. And the lawlessness that she was talking about is January 6th. How about the stinking lawlessness at the border every day? Title 8 is violated every day by this administration.
Can I raise a point of order?
The Title 8...
Just hold on the time. The gentlelady has a point of order.
Can we ask members of the committee not to cast aspersions upon members of the committee?
We had aspersions cast upon us by your member, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, my observation is that extreme MAGA is used on a daily basis by the second,
Repeatedly.
and so saying extreme Marxist is fair game. You'll have the gentleman from Arizona continue.
It is crystal clear that Representative Becca's comments about what the insurrectionists did on January the 6th shook this GOP Congress member. I mean, he was so hopping mad that he used the M-word. Yeah, as in Marxist. Calling her and those on the left extreme Marxists. I bet you don't even know what Marxism is.
Marxist equity. This is something new.
I mean, this committee hearing was not them debating about economic systems, capitalism versus Marxism, socialism, communism. No, they weren't having that kind of debate. So for him to inject the word Marxist, it makes no sense here in this context, but I digress. Oh yeah, he was hopping mad about it. Now, any member of the GOP who is still justifying the actions of the insurrectionists on January the 6th, they need to get a clue. Or in other words, just go ahead and tell the truth, that you were okay with that kind of lawlessness. But to continue to make excuses for some of those folks, I won't say all of them came there for the intent of destroying the Capitol, for the intent of trying to hang the former Vice President Pence, because they didn't like the outcome of the 2020 election. But it's very clear that some folks came there for that. Others might have just got caught up in the moment, but the Capitol was destroyed. People were hurt, lives were threatened, and folks died. And as for them saying that they love law enforcement, where in that moment they didn't love law enforcement worth a doggone. I'm gonna keep it PG. They totally disregarded law enforcement on that particular day. The bottom line here is this. When you have members of Congress who are supposed to be debating a serious issue, in this case, the serious issue is immigration reform, for this to devolve into, I see your lawlessness and I'll raise you on lawlessness, just not a good look. It is not what the American people need in this moment. We got problems that need to be solved, and we need both parties to laser focus on solving those problems, those conundrums, those mysteries. wouldn't it be nice if they could find a few topics that they can come together on other than making war? Because that's something that is done in a bipartisan way. In other words, Democrats and Republicans do not hesitate to fund the war machine, baby. But when it comes to changing the material conditions of the American people, we are left wanting. Now, the insurrection happened, and the insurrectionists were wrong, and they are not hostages. On the other side of this, it is true that we need immigration reform. We have needed it for a very long time, and these elected officials need to get a clue instead of trying to one-up one another to see who could get the best brownie points with their voters. I think what all voters really need and are looking for is leadership in this Congress and service by the people that they sent there to do a job. I sigh deeply, sisters and brothers and family and friends. What's your take on this? Is it I see your lawlessness and I'll raise you? Is it the extreme MAGA or MAGA, depending on how you want to pronounce it, versus extreme Marxists? Either way, not serving the American people, in my opinion, is extreme as hell.